Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century NATO Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III. I hope you enjoy this podcast episode. Please comment and share this so other people can hear the experiences of my guest today. Thank you and enjoy. Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century NATO Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III, and I am here with Dr. Dakota K. Dakota recently received his doctorate degree. Thanks for being on the show, Dakota.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be on your show.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your tribal affiliation, and where you come from.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and introduce myself. Yes, Dakota K and She Tabahan Nesle, Do Toda Chini Bashin, Hanahi Dashache, Do Haskana Jo Dashanella. I'm from Kayenta, Arizona. Born in Fort Defiance, raised in Kayenta, and went to undergrad at Fort Lewis College, and I just got my doctorate in physical therapy from Southwest Baptist University in Missouri. So that's pretty much a quick summary of my life.
That's awesome. So what did you decide to go to Fort Lewis for athletics, or talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so going, I have a bunch of siblings, and I'm very close to my family, and so growing up, family is always number one, and I've always wanted to be close to home. I didn't want to go far, and I was always planning things out since since high school, of finding the closest college, the one that works the best for me, and the one that won't put too much demand on my family. And Fort Lewis was just the one that kind of fit that category. In addition, they're the one I wanted to play football for them too, and they were a Division II school, so it just fit all categories. I wouldn't be far away from home. The school has the tuition waiver. It's a good stepping stone before graduate school, and I wanted to play football over there.
That's awesome. So talk with me a little bit about the post that you wrote that went viral.
Yeah, I didn't expect that post to go viral. That kind of just came out of nowhere. I woke up one morning, went to sleep that night, and I woke up and I saw thousands of shares, and I was kind of thrown off by that. But, when I graduated with my doctorate, for a while, I didn't want to post anything. I kind of just wanted to keep things to myself. That's who I am. I'm very humble. That's how my family is. We're very humble, and I didn't want to post anything. But there's this something was bothering me inside, because that the situation that I face is not unique. There are many of us that go through that same situation, and a lot of us are lost. And so I kind of felt this urge to go ahead and just, be humble, but post something that can hopefully inspire people who are in my situation, because there are a ton of us. When I was at school, there's a lot of homeless people just like me. I mean, I'm not unique, and it's tough and it's hard. And I guess my whole goal is just to inspire and just to help people to not give up and just go after the goals and do whatever you have to do to succeed. Want me to talk a little bit more about what I wrote?
Yes.
Yeah. So that post. Oh my gosh, that's a long story. I don't know where to start with that. Well, of course the post was to inspire, but you want me to go ahead and talk about my story a little bit?
Yeah, talk with me a little bit about the one at Fort Lewis.
Yeah, so when I was at Fort Lewis College, I had everything pretty much figured out. I had a lot of scholarships. I had football scholarships, but the problem came during the summer. I had this plan laid out in front of me to take classes and to graduate at a certain time and to apply to PT school. And it required to take classes during the summer. Unfortunately, all my scholarships didn't have any. They wouldn't pay for any of the summer classes. So I kind of had to figure out how to kind of survive during the summer. So I kind of saved up money to pay for the classes during the summer, but housing is expensive, and Durango being a kind of a tourist town, housing is very expensive. And so I couldn't afford it. So my plan was to stick to my original plan and take the classes, but to figure out a way to survive and live. And so that's when I first came up with this idea that, you know, I can just be homeless and take classes and find a way. Because the summer before, I saw some kids, being Durango, in Durango, there's a lot of kids who like the outdoors, you know, they camp outside and they like to, you know, do that type of stuff. And I was like, I see a lot of kids doing this, and why can't I do it? Why can't I just save money and not get housing and just do classes? And so that's what I did. I kind of figured out places where I could sleep on campus. I found out where I could shower. I found out how to eat, and that's what I did during the summer at Fort Lewis College. There was this the Reed Library. There's an underground part of Reed Library where it's open 24/7 to students. And back then, there was a small couch in the corner, way in the back, and the lights were always off back there. It was behind this printer, so you couldn't really see it. So I used to sneak down there and sleep there through the night. It was kind of a love couch, and I used to just sleep there 8 hours a night, and none of the security officers walked by at their net section. Sometimes I would sleep on top of the library, and sometimes that's when the security officers would come up to me and ask for my ID, and I'd give them my ID and tell them I was a student. And I would just tell them I'm just a student, just studying, just taking a quick nap. And I'm pretty sure they knew the truth. I'm pretty sure they knew I was homeless, but they didn't do anything. As long as I was a student there, they kind of just let me go. But I was able to survive each time I did it, and that's where I kind of gained the confidence from my next story in Missouri. So that was my little short little homeless story at Fort Lewis College.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, what's interesting is I went to school with a student actually from Kenta as well that had a hard time finding housing in the fall.
Right.
And they ended up camping in the back of their car for 2 months before housing became available. So you're right.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's common. You know, I go there and I see it all the time. And there was also during the fall too. There was a kid who was homeless too, a native. I forgot what tribe he was from, but he needed housing, and me and my roommate we snuck him in our room. So there's only 2 people per dorms in the camp hall, and we used to sneak him in at night, and he used to sleep in our room for a whole semester. So yeah, I mean it's not a rare thing. It's pretty common.
Right, that's awesome. So whenever that happened, like, did people reach out to you and say, hey, let's take a look at this? Are there resources available?
No.
Did you just go by without anyone finding out?
Yeah, at that time I was still young. I was still learning how to find my resources. I was still learning how to communicate. I was just, you know, being in high school, I was just kind of this little quiet, shy, introverted person. And during this young stage in my life, I didn't know how to do those stuff yet. So I was just kind of keeping to myself and doing just what I needed to do to succeed. So, you know, I just kind of stuck it out. But, you know, when I was homeless in Missouri, I did all that stuff, and I was able to find all these resources. So that's probably one of the things. It's the things you just learn over time. And, you know, probably if whoever are listening, you know, kids are listening to this, you know, there's resources out there. You just got to go and look.
Right, that's so true. But I think the key, too, is that you had scholarships and you had money available. And it kind of just happened, it sounds like.
Right. It's just during the summer where it's tough, where a lot of the scholarships don't pay throughout the summer and stuff.
That's so true. My wife is in her PhD program, and it doesn't cover scholarships. And even Navajo Nation scholarship doesn't cover summer.
Exactly.
So,
right.
And you have to be full-time, but full-time in the summer is a bit different than the fall and the spring.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting. I noticed other Indian country or other outlets, media outlets, news outlets tells you.
I got a lot of interviews. I got Indian Country, Inside Edition. Apparently there's a couple other news outlets contacting my school, Southwest Baptist University, about my story. My school is about to publish a bigger story here in the next couple of days. I've been getting people wanting to write books about me, and I have people wanting to do a short film and stuff. So it's been pretty interesting. It's just, you know, it's good in a way. That way I'm networking with all these people, and, you know, just getting in contact with them, getting to know more people. So it's been good.
Well, not only that, but raising awareness to that issue.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Raising awareness is good. Yep. I mean, that was pretty much my main goal of the post, was just to, get awareness out there and inspire. So good.
That's awesome. So you talked about your doctorate degree in physical therapy. Talk with me about that process to get that degree.
Yeah. So physical therapy, it's usually most programs are a 3-year program. 3-year program after you get a bachelor's. It's a 3-year doctorate program, and each program is different, but occasionally, mostly it's 3 years, and it's just 3 straight years of tough schooling to get a doctorate. That's pretty much all it is. That's kind of what I went into. So very tough schooling. 20 credits per semester. It's schooling all year long.
So is there a lot of is there an internship a part of that? Do you have to do clinical rotations? Talk to me.
Yeah. So, well, for our program, it was the first 2 years were just in-class work, classroom setting, that type of stuff. And then the final year was all clinical rotations. Our school did 4 clinical rotations, 2 8-week rotations and 2 9-week rotations. And that's pretty much my whole final third year. My first 2 rotations were down in the Phoenix area. Then I had my third rotation in Dallas, Texas. And I had my last rotation here in Kayenta, Arizona at the Indian Health Service. So yeah, it's been a great 4 clinical rotations. It was awesome.
That's cool. So you said IHS. I remember reading in your post that IHS ended up giving you a scholarship.
Right.
That process.
Yeah, that's another long story. So when I was in undergrad, when I applied to PT school, my whole plan was to get the Indian Health Service Health Profession Scholarship during my first year, and that would take care of all the schooling and everything, because graduate school is very expensive and PT school is very expensive. And so that was my plan. Right about 2 weeks before school started, I got a notification from the IHS scholarship office telling me that they had a recent cut in funding, so they were not giving a lot of scholarships to first year students. And he said my score met the qualifying score for the scholarship, but unfortunately I couldn't get it. What the guy told me was, like, if I could just survive and make it 1 year getting good grades, he's pretty sure that I would get the scholarship the following year. And so that's where I had that mindset that I just got to survive 1 year and get good grades. And that's how I ended up, going to Missouri and just kind of being homeless again. And that was my whole intention, was to be homeless for a whole year just to save money and just to afford school. And luckily, the school I chose is very caring. And when they found out, my mission to go to PT school and return to the Navajo Nation to help my people, they loved it. And my school was, they decided to give me free housing, free meals, and pretty much everything that needs to be taken care of. They took care of it, food, clothing, and all that. And so that's how I ended up surviving the first year of PT school. And, it helped me out, and I ended up getting the really good grades, and I got the IHS scholarship during my second year, and everything was taken care of. The rest of the story was history. It was a pretty stressful but pretty amazing experience. I just kind of went with faith on that. It was a leap of faith, basically.
That's so awesome. I can't believe that came through. Sometimes things just fall in place.
Yeah, a lot of it is just, when I first got accepted to PT school, I got accepted to a couple of universities, and a lot of people choose places because it's closer to home and stuff like that. But for me, choosing the right place was finding the place that was the right fit. And so what I did was I called the universities, and I talked to them, and I wanted to get to know them and the university and what their missions were. And then this school in Southwest Baptist University was very caring. They were interested in my story, and they wanted me, and they were willing to waive the deposit. See, when you get accepted, you got to pay deposit, $2,000 usually deposit, and they waived that because they understood my struggles. And I was like, I have a feeling this school is going to help me in the long run. And that's, I chose them, and they ended up helping me in the long run. So that's how it worked out.
Wow, that's so awesome. So are you currently working at IXS? Was that a payback grant?
Yeah, so I'm obligated to give back 2 years, but to me that doesn't really matter, because in the end I want to come back and work on the Navajo Nation or some tribal hospital for the rest of my life. I don't have any desires to work, for a profit company or a big private company like that. All I want to do is just give back to the people, and that's my responsibility. And that's what home is. That's what my people are. So, but yeah, I'm obligated to give at least 2 years, but I'm going to be here for longer than that. So right now I am not working because I have to pass my state board exam first, and I just took that last week. I don't get the results until another 10 days after the exam, so I'm still waiting for my results. But once I find out I pass, I can start working as a physical therapist.
Oh, dang, that's awesome. That's pretty cool to hear that you got to that point. And so using your football, do you go and do camps and stuff like that? Because there's not a
yes.
Where do you help out at?
Yeah, so before I went to PT school, me and Roderick Canetzo from Navajo Prep, we used to run the Gridiron football camp down in Navajo Prep. We did that like 3 or 4 years in a row. So and then I helped out with camps in Kayenta and just around, and that's one of my goals. Football is a passion for me, and for me it taught me a lot of good experiences. I met a lot of good people, and it helped carve the pathway to get my doctorate degree. It taught me valuable lessons, sent me good connections, and for me that was a good resource, and I think it still is a good resource for a lot of Native Americans, especially kids who are struggling. So I think for me it's a way to get back to the community. It's a way to inspire the younger generation, to talk to them. It's just something to use for me, and something I'm very passionate about. So I'm not running any camps this summer or this year yet, but in the future I plan to help out and run some more camps. I'm still talking with a couple of people about it. So, yep, that's pretty much. It's still working in the process right now. So
that's cool. So, what advice do you have for high school kids that wants to go and play college football?
Yeah, it's a commitment. My advice to the younger generation, to high school students is, it's tough. There's a lot of advices I can give. So, just it's a full-time commitment. You wake up in the morning, you go to morning workouts from like 6 to 8, eat breakfast, class from like 8 to 2, and then film from like 2 to 4 or 2 to 3, then practice from 3 to 5 or 6, dinner, and then study hall and film all the way up to about 11 o'clock, and then you repeat every single day basically. And so it's basically a full-time job. So you have to be committed. It is hard, but it's worth it, because just the people I've met, the connections, the friendship, the bond, it helped. It definitely helped me battle that culture shock of going to college. And so, my advice is just go after it, be determined. It's going to be hard. You're going to want to quit, but you just got to go after it. And after all it's done, after I finished it, I felt like I could do anything in the world. I mean, I was like, after football ended, I was like, I just got school to focus on. This is easy. And, if you make it through, you can pretty much do anything you want in the world. And that's kind of what happened in my case. So, yeah, it is going to be tough, but, just go after it and go do it. Don't make excuses. We all have legit, real excuses, but don't let it stop you. Just go after it and go do it.
That is so cool. And I think that's really good advice, is dedication and that time commitment. I saw someone make a post about a typical day of a college athlete, and it's exactly the way you explained it. that film session, because it's like a job, right?
It's more than a full-time job. I mean, like, especially coming from the reservation, kids on the reservation don't know a lot about, the football, the what goes into, the playmaking, the critical thinking required. And when I first went to college, that was kind of a shock for me, and I had to learn all these different things. It's a lot of thinking. So yeah, it can be pretty tough early on.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking time to be on the podcast. Is there anything else you would like to share?
If those people who have not heard my story, I would encourage them to go ahead and, read my posts, because, again, my whole goal for this post is just to inspire people and to, let people know that, don't give up. We're all, a lot of us are struggling. A lot of us have real, legit excuses. But, in the end, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to succeed. You can't let those excuses stop you. Don't learn from my mistakes. Go find resources. There's a lot of resources out there that can help you. I've learned from my mistakes, and just look at those resources and find a way.
How can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, I have a Facebook account. My name is Dakota K. That's pretty much my big Facebook account. I do have an Instagram, but I don't really post a lot on it. That's pretty much all I have. If those certain people, I have a lot of people asking me to do speeches and stuff, and I am going to do speeches here and there. So if you would like to contact me, my email is dakotapk@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Facebook. But I do have like 1,000 messages on Facebook since that post, so that's going to be a little hard to reach me on. But email would probably be best.
That's awesome. So once the show's done, just send me your email, and then I can put that at the bottom of the show notes. That way, sound good?
Yeah, sound good. I'll send you my email.
All right, brother. Hey, next time you're in Farmington, give me a call, and maybe we can get together if you're hanging out with Rod, and let me know,
man.
I can we can hang out and talk. So
yeah, for sure. I'll let you know for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you have my number now, and I have yours. But hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you sharing with me, and I just want to dig a little bit deeper with your story and share with my audience.
Absolutely. So another question: how long have you been doing this podcast?
I've been doing it here in February. It'll be 3 years. So I've interviewed over 130 people.
Oh, 130 people. Yeah, quite a bit of following. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Is it like where do you go and listen to? Where can I find it?
I'll send you a link. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on Podbean, Applecast.
Okay. Cool. I'll probably should be able to find it pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you a link and you can play it. And then once it's ready, I'll send it to you as well.
Yeah, sounds good. I got another podcast to talk to on too. So.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, we'll talk to you later. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll let you know from the Farmington. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Hello, listeners. I hope you enjoyed this episode, listening to the challenges and the tribulations of the guests that I had today. Please follow me on 21st Century Native Leaders. Go to my page, give my page a like for future episodes, and also for quotes from books that I read, articles that I read, and the pictures are from Indian country, in particular the Navajo Nation. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully you come back and hear another future episode. Have a good day. Yeah.